Thank you, Javier, and to NACADEM for the invitation to share this panel, and also por la oportunidad de encontrarme con todos ustedes en este espacio virtual. Those of us that have a Facebook page, Facebook tends to remind us of past memories. To me, this morning, a Facebook page reminded me that of a story of an innocent man that was executed 8 years ago. David Anthony Troy Davis. As I was reflecting on on what had just happened, an act of injustice, my mentor said to me, "You know, Yohan, if you are an African American or a Latino, you're left behind. The system is wrong. Now, if you are an undocumented immigrant, you're also left behind. Actually, you are pretty behind." And to me, I think it is sad when the church that ought to welcome immigrants and refugees sometimes also close the doors on them. That is very sad. According to the church, we are a church on mission, and there's 3 fundamental realities that the church ought to work on: the evangelization aspect, which is the prophetic, the sacramental life, and also the social mission of the church. But the reality is that undocumented immigrants, and sometimes also those ministries that work with them, grupos parroquiales and others, are also marginalized. And all of a sudden, they too become part of the club of those that had been marginalized. I think a lot of us, when the pandemic began, we were sent home. We were very lucky, I think, by still having a salary, working from the comfort of our homes. But that was not the case for many immigrants, many undocumented immigrants. They had to go out to put food on their table, right? Many of them lost their jobs. They lost their income stability. They even lost a lot of family members. Back in April, I was getting phone calls over almost every single day of family members, friends of who their family members had passed away. I was consoling one person one day, and the next day I had another phone call. Another family member had passed away. Many of us, we were able to connect, to listen to Mass, to be part of the liturgical celebration of the church through Facebook, Zoom, but our elderly people were not part of it. They were also left behind. They were also alone. Our youth, our college, university students, they were just trying to figure out their lives, how life with the new semester was going to look like. And then they're faced with a reality, sometimes with a church that is not sympathetic to their cause either. And I think the list can go on and on. People with disabilities, divorcing people who live in civil unions. And I think I'm going to piggyback on what my colleagues have said, Deacon Enrique and Jessica. To me, if we ought to be a church on mission, first of all, we have to listen to our people. A lot of us, we're too comfortable in our homes, in our shepherd seats. I think the gospel often makes us feel uncomfortable. The gospel should be making every single one of us to go out to the peripheries. Hacer una iglesia en salida, como dice Papa Francisco. Pope Francis said at the very beginning of the pandemic, you ought to practice the pastoral de escucha. Listen to your people. It is not true, I believe, that there's not enough Hispanics that want to be part of ministries. Actually, according to the Quinto Encuentro process, they're eager to serve in the church. But they haven't been given the opportunities to serve in the church. They have been given the proper formation. And not only them, but also our clergy, our pastors, our ministers, they haven't also been trained to accompany them properly. I think we ought to reflect on that. If we ought to be a church on mission, we have to do better. Yes, there is indeed many challenges, but every challenge becomes an opportunity. It is an opportunity to be in solidarity with our brothers and sisters. What I'd like to invite you, I think, throughout this conference, as Jessica mentioned, is to reflect on the reality that you see within your parish communities, within your dioceses. And I will tell you that you will find a brother and a sister that has been marginalized. And sometimes we're the ones who actually marginalize them. I'll tell you a personal story. When I was studying at Fordham University 4 years ago, as an undocumented student, one of the 7 undocumented students at the university, was knocking on a lot of doors, reaching out to Catholic institutions, and there was no help. Nothing, not a single one. And I was asking myself, if I want to, the reason why I'm actually getting this degree is because I want to serve the church. But if there's no help, then how am I actually going to fulfill my mission within the church? My story is not different from the story of many of our college students, Hispanic, Latino immigrant families that want to actually do better. They want to serve the church. They want to be part of it. They want to be part of the celebrations. But I think that we have to be, like what Francis says, tenemos que tener una mirada de compasión with our own people. They have been already too marginalized by other groups. If we also marginalize them, then we're not being a church in mission. Again, we ought to go to the peripheries, making sure that no one is left behind. I think the Quinto Encuentro process did tell us what are the priorities. We already know the needs. I don't have to tell you what is the reality of the immigrant community. We know it. I think we have to be, we have to stop being comfortable, and we have to be good shepherds. Go to the peripheries, and then, again, number one thing that we can do following the methodology of the Documento de Aparecida, we need to listen first. And then we need to judge. We need to learn from them. We need to value their experience. We need to use their talents, their gifts, their virtues. They have so many. The Hispanic Latino community has so many gifts. We have to put them into practice. And then eventually, that hospitality should be the magnet that unifies every single one of us, right? We have to be like the Good Samaritan that goes out to the peripheries and encounters the one that is being assaulted. We have to be like Christ, who goes and encounters the disciples who are saddened because of the reality. At the beginning, we were listening to the song, Nuestra Alegría. Nuestra Alegría is when we encounter one another. That's when we can encounter the alegría, and that is the joy of Christ. So as we reflect throughout this conference on how to be a church in mission, I think we have to, ask the Holy Spirit to really guide us. There's plenty of people in our communities that want, a hand from us. So we ought to ask the Holy Spirit to really guide us and to give us the light of the resurrection so that we can see the realities. And when we're ready, Christ will do the rest. Thank you, Javier.